Hey, welcome everybody to Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. Hey, today I've got Dewayne White, Army veteran, stand-up comedian. What's going on, Dwayne?
What's up, man? I feel like I'm doing nothing right. I'm not drunk and I don't have guns in my room right now. I feel like I need to remedy one of those situations or
Well,
both.
we're gonna call this an entry level a teaching session. That's what it is, man. I'm
That's
I'm, I'm
right.
trying to bring you into the fold, or as the TikToks say, the murdering Nazi
I,
KKK
well,
guys.
I've been in the drunk fold for many years, so it's okay. It's just I'm looking around like, where's my vodka? I know I have some hidden in my office. I can't see it, dude. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for having me, man. I'm excited. This sounds fun, man.
Yeah, brother. So tell everybody a little bit about your background and military and all that good stuff.
Oh man. Well, so I'm retired Army. Let's see. I went in 1992. God, back when it was hard. No, I'm just kidding. Back when it was hard because you had to start your shit all the time. No, it's shine boots, things. No, I went in. I spent 23 years in. I went in. I was actually an enlisted linguist first for like 9, 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Learned Russian and all that, and then crossed over to the infantry to the officer side. I want to be an infantry guy, so I was to cross over to the infantry officer side just in time for Iraq to kick off. So woo, um, good timing. And
Yeah.
and then you know went back to the intel side later as an officer, kind of in the special ops world, and then was a foreign area officer. Did some things mostly with the Russians, and yeah, and then decided to get the hell out in 2015. I retired. I was like, I'm done. It's time to hang it up. And yeah, so now and then I did the typical thing that everybody does. I got the contracting gig and the government gig, and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And now I do comedy full time. So way better, way happier.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, man. So you actually switched from enlisted to infantry or to officer and then went into the infantry?
Yeah, I did that on purpose, too,
Yeah.
which is really weird. I had a lot of people go like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, this sounds fun." Like, okay, everyone's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
A lot of people don't know, man. That's like when these cadets come in, that's the first MOS that's gone. The
Yeah,
the top percentages get to pick their
yeah,
MOS. The rest is needs of the army,
yeah.
and that's what they all fight for
They
is
go to
infantry.
infantry, man,
Yep,
because
they
it's
do.
the one you sing songs and shit about. So no,
Yeah.
you don't sing songs about the finance corps. That would be a
Oh,
shitty.
I do a lot. Every on the 1st and the 15th of every damn month, I
Well,
sing
that's
some nice
fair.
fucking
Okay, that's
songs.
fair. Okay, now you're gonna bring reality into it. I'm just making jokes, man.
That's one thing you never did. You're like, man, there's a fuck up on my pay. I'll just eat that $20. It ain't worth
Oh yeah, no,
my
hell
pay
no,
next
dude.
fucked up from the
Hell
next
no, because
6 years.
they're gonna take your money, dude. You got to get everything you can while you're in.
Yep.
But yeah, I switched over to that. Yeah, I don't. When I came in, man, I was a totally different dude. Like I was, I kid you, I was like a theater guy in high school. I was like 130 pounds. I was like, I just want an office job, something that's going to get me money for college. It's not going to be very hard. And then I got in. I liked all that stuff. I liked all the living in the dirt and digging
Yeah.
holes and shooting guns and doing the things. So I was like, you know what, I want to do this infantry thing and crossed over, man.
All right. Well,
So
so what area in the special ops world were you working in?
I was in 10th group a couple times. I was an
Okay.
intel guy. I was on what's called a SOD A team, basically listening to bad guys radios in the 90s in 10th group, and then when I was an intel officer, I got kind of asked to come back and be the MI intel detachment commander. So it was
Okay.
fun, man. I mean, I loved group. It was like
Yeah.
I joke that like ever since I was like kind of a first lieutenant, I never was really in a regular unit ever again. So, people talk about the other military experience, like, sort of. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I kind of left that world and never came back. But,
Yeah.
um,
I worked with well, I didn't work with them, but we were stationed together at 10th Group. I was with the 160th for 10 years.
oh, nice.
So yeah, we were like right next in the same little compound.
Yeah. You guys were hopping and popping every
Yeah,
day,
yep, yep.
every
I
day.
loved it though, man. I did. That was the best 10 years of my military career.
Yeah. What'd you do in 160th?
So I was a mechanic. So I worked
Okay.
on the Hemet fuelers and everything. Did the refuel for the
Sweet.
them. Yep,
Nice, man.
I loved it,
Nice.
man. That was the yeah. I was never home, and
No.
the family support group. They told my wife when we first got there that they should issue out a welcome packet and a vibrator because you're never going to see your husband again.
Give you a fiber. Here you go. Yeah, dude. It was great. I think I showed up. I had two commands there, and the second one was group because like at the battalion level, you would take a cycle off. Like you would
Yeah.
do a cycle, come home, do a cycle, come home, and
Yep.
then you would take the next one off, and they would bring in some reservist battalion, right? But then when you went to group, it was like 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off, and
Yep.
I joked to my detachment sergeant was like, fifth deployment, third marriage by the time I rolled in. Damn, dude. And yeah, it was they said you got to find a way to not burn these people out so much because they are losing it. Because it
Yeah,
was just,
man.
I mean, it was just nonstop, man, for a long time there. So
Yeah, there for a while. I told our company commander, I said, sir, my wife's at home trying to get pregnant. I probably should be there. Yeah.
if I come home and she's pregnant without me, I'm gonna be pissed. This is bullshit.
Yeah, man. But
It
but I
doesn't look
did,
like me.
the budget that special ops has and the adult freedom, man. That's like the adult
Oh
side
yeah,
of
dude.
the army. You know.
It was nice. I mean, even early on, I mean, we got hooked up with some of those guys, even when I was an infantry guy for a while. And it's like, dude, they just have better support. I mean,
Yep.
even when it sucks in the beginning and there's nothing really there, they have more than most. So it's
Yep.
good, but they earn it. You know what I mean? I mean,
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're hopping and popping every day, man. So I mean, you know that from 160th. Those dudes
Yep.
never got a day off.
Yeah. And it's
There was
it's a volunteer side. So
yeah.
that's what made the world difference. And I seen it there towards the end as I was getting old and said, damn, I can't run with these fucking 19-year-olds anymore.
Dude, I
and
know.
and
There's a realization that happens. You're just like, son of a bitch. I
yeah,
used to be in shape. This
yeah,
is bullshit. I used to
it
be good at this.
it
This
got to
hurts
that
now.
point. It got to that point, and we opened up a new battalion in Washington, and dude, we couldn't get anybody to volunteer. We couldn't stand the battalion up because they couldn't get enough crew chiefs or
Oh
anybody.
wow.
So there for a while, I don't know if they've ever changed it back. There for a while, they went DA select.
Oh no
So
kidding. They were just putting people there.
yep. And
Oof.
so anybody that had been there for a long period of time, and at this time I'd been there for like 10 years, um, they said, if you're overstrength in that MOS, you got to give them up to fill other slots, right?
Mm.
Well, they had some freedom as far as choosing where you went. And they came to me and they were like, hey, there's a motor pool position over there in the 75th. Do you want to go to the Ranger Battalion? I said, sure, man, that sounds good. I said, do I got to go to Ranger school? And they're like, yeah. So Korea's not that bad. I guess I'll just head to Korea. There's no way in hell at that
What?
age I was gonna go
How old were
do.
you at the time? How old were
Let's see. It was right there towards the end of my career, so 37,
Oh
38.
yeah, that would have been. But the thing with that is you're so much smarter than everybody else going through. Like I thought I was old. I went through rage school at like 28, and I was like, you know what, dude? It sucks. My body hurts, but I at least know, I'm an adult, so it's not like the Bat Boys where they're like, oh my god, they're gonna make us run around another time if we don't hurry. I'm like, they're gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
You just know all their tricks. You're like, come on, man, it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
But like we'll make it. But yeah, it sucked on the body. And I was 28. I can't imagine going through it like 10 years later. Like, get
Yeah.
the hell out of here, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. I thought about it, my mind was like, yeah. And then I was like, my body's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That shit ain't happening.
Well, and I mean, you can't go there and just like not really want it, you know?
Yeah.
You'll be like, okay, fuck this. I don't need this
Yep.
bullshit. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those, it's like, it's not like the hardest thing in the world, like everybody, but you got to want to be there. I saw so many people quit that were like I had two Green Berets quit right in front of me one day, and they're just like, they just both looked at each other like, do you want to put up with this bullshit? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, we're out of here. So it's rolled out. I'm like, all right, have fun, bye.
Yeah. My hat's off to those guys. I worked with 75th a lot, and it was kind of our little rival. So we do every Tuesday we did pool PT, and we'd do it against them. We'd play um, water polo, and
Oh man,
yeah, yeah, dude,
that'll smoke your ass, dude.
it does too, and
I did it like
especially
twice.
the old
Sweet.
saying about how many Rangers can you fit on a Chinook? Always one more.
One more.
Yep,
That's it.
and it's like that too. When you start winning, every time you turn around, it's like 7-on-7. We scored. It's 7-on-8, 7-on-10. It's like they started breeding.
They just come out of the woodwork. Where do all these high and tights come from? This is bullshit. They don't do this shit no more. Now they got hair and stuff. It's crazy. It's so
Yeah,
different, man.
it
It's
is.
so different. They're
It
like
is.
they're like the new SF guys. They all got
Yep.
bangs and cool shit. It's funny. It's so much different. It's
Yep.
great.
Yeah. It was good times, man. I was on the fence when I left there. I was thinking about retiring, and
Yeah.
I was on the fence, and then I went to third ID, and I knew I was definitely retiring.
Oh
So,
yeah. Fuck third deal do that to you, dude.
yep.
That's for real. Where were you third ID? You were at
Fort
Stewart. You
Stewart.
said
Yeah.
which unit?
315.
Okay, I was a 115 guy during the initial push
Okay.
into Iraq. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll make you quit. Third
Yep.
ID sucks, man. I mean, it was good. We had a great time. Well, we had Dan Allen, who was like he had just come from Ranger Regiment, so he made the whole thing into like this little mini Ranger Regiment with Bradleys, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was Third ID just has a different mentality. That whole freaking big giant
Yeah.
mechanized infantry world has a way of going just beating the shit out of you
They do.
mentally.
Nobody
Sometimes.
smiles. Every
Yeah,
soldier you see walking down the road is just pissed off. You
yeah,
know.
dude, it was crazy.
You know.
It was nuts, man. And yeah, I was
And
at
they're.
Benning. I was at down there at that
Oh
brigade,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we were the bastard children, which was
Yep.
fine. It was good.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys have to sing the dog face soldier song every morning too?
fuck every morning, God. If for anybody who's gonna watch this and listen to this, you have no idea how unmotivating that shit is at 6 a.m. They play this song from like World War II, and you
Yeah.
have to sing it, and then they play Charge,
Yep.
and everybody is the most apathetic fuck in the world. Like, everybody's like, Charge. It's
Yeah.
so fucking good. Every
The-
morning, everyone's the same. I don't know this. Not only that, but at our place, because we were the Sledgehammer Brigade, you couldn't drive on Kelly Hill. That was the rule. You could not drive during PT hours. No matter,
Yep.
there could be no cars going because apparently we couldn't handle moving vehicles and people at the same time. And no matter how many PT belts you fucking wore and a
Yep.
road guard vest and everything else, you were fucking could not move during
Yep.
that time. But then the release music every day they would play Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel over the speakers, and then the Kelly Hill 500 started, where everybody's just getting the freaking hell out of Dodge. It was the funniest shit in the world. Every single you just see people in their cars just like revving their engines, waiting to go. And then I wanna be so dumb. It was so dumb.
Yeah, no, nobody ever got motivated. Yeah, I
Oh,
still laugh about the first line. I wouldn't give a bean to be a fancy pants
fancy pants
Marine.
Marine. I'd rather be a dog faced soldier
Yeah.
like I am.
Yep.
Oh my god, dude, that is so funny. It's I didn't even know they had a song until there's this
I
whole
didn't
thing. My
either.
orders getting fucked up at Benning because I was supposed to go overseas, and then they kept all the OCS guys there because we PCS'd. It was a whole thing, and then the guy fixed my thing because they had me down to go like be a basic training XO, and I'm like, I haven't done anything wrong. That's where you send people who fuck up. And so he goes and he sent me a thing. He's like, hey, I got you switched. You're going to 3rd Brigade, 3rd ID. And then he put, I wouldn't give a bean. And I guess he was an old 3rd ID guy. And I'm like, I have no fucking idea what that phrase means. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about? So I had to Google that shit. And I was like, oh. And the only thing you find at the time was like from the Audie Murphy movie, like the
Yep.
little French lady singing it. And flittering around the stage, and I was like, holy shit. And then I got there and they sang it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. But I don't
Yeah.
know if they still do that.
Oh, they do.
Do they?
Oh yeah, they
God,
do.
that's
They have not gave it up.
they probably never will.
And
You know what I mean?
it's like mandatory, man. It's like every year, every brigade is sending people to the Audie Murphy board. I mean,
Oh my god,
yeah,
yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
volunteers. You are going to be Audie Murphy.
Luckily we were a little busy at the time. So when I was there, they didn't
Yep.
play that shit. They're like, well, we have this war to fight. So sorry.
Yeah.
No boards for you guys. And nobody was disappointed. Nobody was like, well, shit, I really want this Audie Murphy thing.
See, that was the cool thing about the 160th, man. We did field boards, you
Oh,
know.
that's the way to go, dude.
Yep. You went in, you recited the Night Stalker Creed, and
Yeah.
then you recited the NCO Creed, and then they said congratulations, and you did an about face and walked out.
Boy, the Army loves creeds, don't
Yeah. Oh, they
they? I
do.
swear to God, man.
Yep.
If I never have to say a creed out loud, if I never have to repeat some shit to get fed, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Like recognizing that God damn it, I don't want to do pull ups today. It's
Yeah.
like, I
Exactly.
love it. And don't get me
Exactly.
wrong, if I am super pro military, I'm just saying, like, they just have so many creeds and shit to memorize now. It's like the NCO creed, the Warrior creed, the this
Yep.
creed, the that. It's like Jesus, Apollo creed. What do
Yeah.
you want me to say? What the fucking hell do I got?
Yeah.
Just give me food, guys. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
And a 3 day weekend, damn it. I deserve
Oh
it.
fuck yeah, make it a 4 day. Let's go. Let's pay the activities, whatever the hell that means nowadays.
Oh yeah, absolutely nothing.
Payday
Family
activities
time,
was the
payday
greatest day ever.
activities. Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that shit was like, it stemmed from the old days where you got paid with a bunch of cash, so you had to go pay all your shit on the same day so you wouldn't get kicked out of your shitty apartment. But then when it all went to direct deposit, like, yeah, we'll still do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. And
fair
then
enough. Let's do it.
you'll still get called the next day for the AFES fucking payment that private so and so didn't pay.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I don't miss that shit. I don't miss the civilian world is better. They're like, hey, your employee didn't do this. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
That's his
That's
problem.
not my problem.
Yep. And I laugh still with that mentality. So I work in a refinery, right? I'm a supervisor for a refinery, and we'll get people that come in the summertime, and I will tell them, look, he gets last break. He is the last person to go on break because it's a 75% chance that when you send him, he's not coming back.
That dude may not leave, may
Yep.
not return.
And it happens all the time, dude.
Yeah, I'll bet, dude.
I even tell him, I'm like, look, man, I get it. You don't like it. Just if you're not coming back, tell me. So I don't have to walk around here looking for you to make sure you're not in the plant. I said, just
Give me a
man to
secret
man.
signal of some kind. Come on,
Yep.
tug your left earlobe if I know if you're leaving them forever. So I know I'll
Yep.
never see you again. That's
Yep.
awesome.
But
That's
it's a
hilarious.
different mentality out here. That's for damn
Just
sure,
walk out
man.
the door and not come home. Okay, cool, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
I had some guys that said they weren't going to do something, and I wasn't at work, and my boss called me and they're like, "Hey, they said they're not going to do it." I said, "All right, well, tell them that they don't have to. They can start doing it when they're supposed to get off." I said, "We'll just do it tonight." And he's like, "Oh, you can't do that." I said, "What do you mean, man? We'll just keep them here."
We'll just we will take their livelihood away. That's, that's a little too army. Like, I don't think you can make me stay. Don, I'm just saying. I don't think like we can't hold them at gunpoint, and so not that they hold people in the army at gunpoint either. I just want to point that out. I want to just that's a disclaimer. But they
Yeah,
will take your free time in a
but
heartbeat.
you'll have a whole new riot out there. We need to take the army's guns. They're holding each other at
Holy
gunpoint.
shit! They have assault rifles. They do assaults. Oh, never mind. Okay, that's fine. All right,
I
they can
don't know
have
if
them.
you remember when they changed it. So it used to be if you had a um violent charge like a domestic violence or something like that charge,
Yeah,
you could still be in the military. They didn't
yeah,
kick
but
you
they
out
added
for it.
that. I forget what the law is called. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
Where
then
you
they put
because you're
that
not
law in
allowed to touch
effect.
a weapon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
it's like
wonder
if
how
you
many people, I always wondered it. I'm like, yeah, she says that you hit her. Yep, I hit that bitch. I'm tired of her shit. And then you like see Facebook after you're there chaptered and they're like still living together, 3 kids, and they're like,
oh my
yeah,
god,
your ass just wanted out of the
he's selling
military.
cars outside Fort Benning. Like, hey, I'm retired sergeant major. I'm here to sell you a Camaro. Yeah. Yeah, I was in the Rangers. Oh, were you? When? Long time ago.
1975 in the
Weren't you at
75th.
E3 like a week ago? What the hell happened? This is bullshit. I think you're full of shit, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
man.
it's just yeah, I just wonder like the negotiations that go on. Okay, look, I know I shouldn't have done but I'm gonna lose my job, and you're gonna lose a house, and we're gonna be out on our ass. All right, I'll lie for you. It's like, damn it, man. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know, man. Because you got to think that, with the wars and all that stuff, I'm sitting there saying this with a smile on my face. What a horrible human being I am. But it's like, you got to think with all that shit, like domestic violence probably went up with all the crazy shit that people were going through
Oh
at the
yeah,
same time that the
yeah,
law was in place. And now the army's like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to lose all these people.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
That was like the one thing on the safety brief at the end of the week was like,
Uh,
don't kick your dog, don't hit your wife. And then it would get repeated like 15 more times, man.
don't hit your wife or your
Yeah.
husband for that matter. Cause there's a lot of women that I'm more afraid of
Oh, yeah.
um, out there
Ex-
now.
Especially now.
Oh my God, dude. Don't hit your spouse. Don't
Yeah.
beat the shit.
Especially if she's no longer the wife. I mean, now
Oh
if
my
she's
God,
the
dude.
husband, you really don't want.
Now we don't know what. Now nobody knows who to take to jail. It's
And
it's.
see that time got confusing for the military. The guy who used to do this podcast with me, he was my first sergeant there in third ID, and it was a Friday, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to let all my clerks have a extra half hour for lunch. Hey, you guys go ahead and go to lunch. I'll watch the desk. I got you. And this guy walks up and says, "Hey, first sergeant, I need to get the piece of paper to change the last name because I got married." And Top was like, "All right, yeah, congratulations, man. Let me get your paperwork. Your wife's in." He said, "No, I'm changing my name, my husband." And he pulled him around the
Oh shit.
corner, and the first time I looked at him, he's like, "You're gonna have to come back after lunch. I don't know where that paperwork is." He said, "Well,
It's
you're gonna have to talk to my clerks."
yeah. Hey,
He
things
was like, "Is that even the same form?"
probably. Yeah. It's a different world, man.
It
So
is,
for sure, for
and a
sure.
different caliber of soldier. So I had a soldier, and I've told this story several times, but I had a soldier come in that literally came to me with a memorandum from AIT that said, "Soldier has not passed the PT test. He needs to take a PT test." And I'm like, "Why is he still in the army?" And he was like, "I don't want to be in the army. Sorry, like, can you chapter me?" And I was like,
Can you chapter me?
"Yeah, that's what
I
exactly what
really
he
don't want to
said."
be here.
And so I was like,
I heard there's this thing called a chapter that'll get me out. Can you do that?
he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, we'll see. I mean, but Jag would not let us get rid of this guy. He would not pass a PT test.
What?
They were like 18 months. You can't chapter anybody in the first 18 months for height and weight or PT
Well, then
failure.
failure to adapt.
Nope,
Get
that's
this
gone
fucker
too.
out.
Yep,
That's
nope. So
get him out.
my company
That's
commander got in trouble, and the battalion commander told him for his punishment, he had to interview all of his soldiers and then report back to him about what he learned. Right? He got in trouble for sexual harassment. He
oh
was
yeah, okay, Roger.
he was negative against some females. He didn't think females should be in the military, and
Uh,
so he calls Thompson up there, and I go up with him.
I
I'm
love that
sitting
you're
there.
just naming names. You're like, fuck
Oh
it,
yeah,
let's just
oh
put them
yeah.
out there.
I wish he would listen to one of my podcasts because he is like the main character in my story, man.
That's awesome.
But he he looks at me and says, "Thompson," he said, why'd you join the army?" He said, "Call of Duty, sir." And commander said, "Oh, I get that." He said, "That's probably, your family probably served. You felt that sense of urgency to do something for your country." And I looked at Thompson and I looked at the commander. I said, "I think he means the video game, sir." He goes, "Yeah, sir. I thought the army was like Call of Duty, the video game, but it's not. Can you chapter me?"
Anybody thinks that shit, that's what fair. The Onion did a thing a few years ago. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was like a realistic military game. It was like Modern Warfare 3 or something back in the day. And it was the most realistic video game. So it was like you had to carry it was like you drove to your trucks to some town in Iraq and you realized you had the fucked up paperwork, so you had to drive back, or you spent all day doing PMCSs and doing all this shit, and at the end they're like, oh, you get to it comes with the new controller, and it was basically a saw, but it's like, but it doesn't work, but you still got to carry it anyway. All this shit. I was like, this is the greatest bit I've ever heard of my life. It's like, yeah, this is the day where I go out. I had to break up an argument about who was hotter, Shakira or some of the shots. Like, this is great. This is so good.
Yeah,
Most realistic
it's
shit I've
true.
ever seen in my life. Because everybody thinks it's like the video games and shit. I always joke, like, now the kids are playing all the video games that they're coming in. I think IMT like must be the funniest shit ever, because they must be like, why are you jumping? You can't jump up and down to avoid bullets. They're just running around. If I jump, they can't shoot me. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. It's not the same, bro. But it's funny because you talk to them, they know more about guns like than anybody. Like the kids are like, oh, this is a da 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 da. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? Like my son, I was like, how do you know these things? And he's like, oh, it's on the Call of Duty. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. That's fair. I'm like, do you know how to use it? Like, no. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's great.
It was like that with my son too, man. He'd tell you everything about cars. And I bought him a 78 Camaro that we started restoring. And he started driving it, and he called me and he said, I can't get it to start. I said, well, what were you doing? He said, I did a tune up and I can't get it to start. And I got there, and the arrow for the flow of fuel on the fuel filter was pointing towards the car. I said, well, we got to turn this around so you actually get flow to the carburetor.
Not a very good tune up, son. Yeah. Not very good. I don't know if you know how arrows work.
But he can tell you everything. He can tell you all the specs about cars and everything because he played all those racing games, man.
Right?
That's
like me, man. When people start to, like, I know nothing about specs of anything, anything. Like people like I even podcast called Guns is in the title. So I'm like, every time I would go talk to somebody, I love talking to people like, oh, this is a da 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 da, and it's got this many, and I'm like, which end do the bullets come out and how far do they go? That's all I need to know. I don't give a shit about any other stuff. Like, I don't care that it was, this was designed by Hans Fritz or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter to me. No,
I'm like, the same way, man.
Can I shoot a deer with this? Okay, cool. That's great. That's good. That's awesome.
I got a guy I work with, man, and he's like that. He can tell you everything about it. And I'm like, I just need to know the maximum effective range.
Yeah.
How far can I put that bastard down?
Yes. And I just want to kill a deer. Like, that's all I'm trying to do now. That's all I want to do.
I love hunting, man.
Put meat in the freezer, man. Oh, me too. I live up here in DC though. I don't live in DC. I live like in Virginia, south of DC. But it's funny because I always joke up here that people, I do shit in DC. I'll talk about hunting, and people, there's always like a 20-year-old white girl will come up to me after a show and be like, "There's no reason to ever kill an innocent animal." And I'm just like, oh, enjoy your wings, sweetheart. But other than that, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, I laugh, man. And
you got that big Midwest deer out there, though.
There's
like
some good size
deer here. It's like hitting a golden retriever. It's not that big.
Same in Georgia, man.
Yeah, dude. It's something about the South. And then you get out to Missouri and Illinois and you hit a deer with your car and it totals your car.
Yep.
Like, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
And I work right in the middle of the Mark Twain National Forest. So I get off work at 3:00 and I just take my guns and everything with me and go hunting. Get off work and walk across the street and into the woods, man.
Hey, boys, I'll be back. I'm going to go find those dudes that left and didn't come back to work.
Yep. May 30th, squirrel season starts. So that's where I'll be.
Oh, shit. Do you eat squirrel?
I do. Yeah.
Do you? I do too, but like nobody else in my house will. My son will. No, my wife and daughter, they're like, nope, I won't even, no, sir. So it's like, it's not worth it for me to go because I don't want to mess with it. But yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
I've tried to force them to do it, and they're like, nope.
It's good, man. I love it.
It's not bad. It's a little,
it's like that with frog legs in my house. Nobody else eat them. I love frog legs.
Yeah, I'm not a big frog legs guy. I used to be. The first time I ever had them, my grandparents lied to me and told me it was chicken. So I ate it. I was like, that's really good. They're like, that was actually frog. I'm like, that seems like you shouldn't do that to me.
It's even weird when they don't cut that tin and you watch them start hopping out of the frying pan.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, I've never seen it, but I've heard that. I'm like, holy shit. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I ordered them somewhere not too long ago, and I was like, Nope, not anymore.
It
That
is
was
kind of
fine when I
weird. The
was a
only
kid.
place you get them from is Chinese restaurants.
I think I had him in Bosnia at some restaurant one time. I was like Sarajevo, and I was like frog legs. Hell yes. And I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, this is not. This is them Serbian frogs. I
I
don't think
didn't
this
see
is.
a whole lot of water that was worth eating something out
I
of. I was in Bosnia in '98, man.
know. I was. It was like I forget. We went to like it was New Year's Eve, like 1996. It was
Yeah,
like getting in going in '97, and we're like we were in Sarajevo, so we could do whatever the fuck we wanted to. It wasn't like we
yeah.
were in the American sector, and so we're like, let's go to this place and eat. And we went, and I was like, ooh, frog legs. I'm gonna, and it was terrible. I was like, these are the worst thing. And I think that was like that did it for me. I think I've
Yeah,
tried it one other time since then, but I'm like, nah. And I'm a pretty adventurous eater. You know, I've traveled all over the place. I don't mind. I'll eat. I'll try whatever.
yeah,
But I
man.
was just like, I don't know, man.
Did you guys drive in, or how'd you get to Bosnia?
Oh, it was already. I mean, it was established by the time I got there. We would fly in
Right.
to because that was when I was in 10th group over in Stuttgart, so
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
we just jet over.
I got to drive a Hemmet Wrecker from Tazar, Hungary,
Oh
all the way to
shit.
Bosnia. 3 days, 3 day
That's
drive
a
in a
long
Hemmet
drive,
Wrecker.
dude.
Yeah. And then like
In
we
it.
was going through Croatia, and all the girls and people would come out of their little huts and be like waving, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's like I just entered, like the way they were dressed was like Little House on the Prairie, you know.
Oh shit.
And I was like, man, these girls are beautiful. And then we crossed that bridge, and I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, this place is not good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's what people. I mean, the Eastern Europeans and Slavs and stuff. They are. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say anything because I'm a married man. My wife's upstairs and she's not one of those. But but I tell her all the time, if you leave me, I'm going east, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm going. I don't care. Pick up. I
yeah.
tried to get an au pair, but because not too long, I was like, "Hey, let's get like a Russian au pair," and she's like, "No, why?" She said, "Well, our kids are grown up." Mostly, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true." So didn't go well. It's like, but think of we can help this girl out. She's like,
Yeah.
"Shut up, you're
Yeah.
a piece of
I
shit."
mean, without us, she's going to end up trafficked.
See, I'm trying to solve problems. I'm
Yep.
trying to solve problems. She's like, "Nope."
Yeah. Damn
What can you
party
do?
poopers. So,
Anyway.
what, when you got out of the military, um, where'd you start? You said you started out with some GS jobs, huh?
Yeah, I did the contract thing for. So yeah, it's funny because like it was the last thing I wanted to do was go back into the government. But I mean, it was like you just end up. I'm in DC, man. It's just like you just end up doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody does, and it works for some people. That's great. But I was like, I went in, and I enjoyed being a contractor. It was fun. We had a cool team, and we were having a good time. And I was writing WMD scenarios for those big exercises over in Korea. Like so I would go in and write these fucking weird scenarios like, oh, they're trying to somebody set off a biological weapon in the subway. What are you gonna do? And so we would write that shit. And that was fun, man. That was a good time. Then did planning for a while. And then I took a GS job there. They asked me to come over and do that, and I went back to where I used to work in the Russia side of things with treaties and things like that,
Mhm.
and it was okay. And then I went back to doing more of the operational side of things, and I just realized like, did they really want a military guy? And I'm not that anymore.
Yeah.
And it was miserable. I hated it for like the last year and a half I was there. I was just like, I got to stop. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's good. I mean, I'm stoked that I walked away from it a couple years ago, and I do a part-time gig now where I teach like leadership to Navy civilians, which is hilarious. But just every time I say that sentence, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But
Navy civilians.
I teach leadership to Navy civilians, and it's great. I love it actually. I have so much fun because it's like it's more like along the lines of like creative thinking and thinking outside the box and doing, not always having to follow every little nitnoid rule, but there are people that work in contracting, so they got to do that anyway. But no, it's fun. But yeah, comedy is the full-time thing. So yeah, it's a hoot, man.
Yeah.
It was so I was I talk to my wife all the time about this. Like, I was just so miserable in that GS world.
Yeah.
It was like take the army and add more rules, and you're like, God damn it! It's
Yep.
like the army with time cards.
Yep. And now when the furlough happens, you really don't get paid to where,
Yeah,
at
it's fair.
least in the military, some congressman's going to be like, no, we need to make sure the troops get paid. Let's do this.
Well, I was so pissed. This is no bullshit. I went in, I switched to GS right before the last shutdown.
Mhm.
I crossed over. I was a GS guy. And it was funny because we were in a meeting and my new boss was like, okay, well, if the government shuts down, they've already approved all of our funding, so we're good to go to work. And I was like, and he looked at me. I must have made a face. He goes, Dwayne, what's wrong? I would go, well, I gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed. He's like, what do you mean you're disappointed? I was like, I've been waiting for a government shutdown as a government employee for years because I know I'm gonna get paid in the end. This is free vacation. I just want this. And he's like, you don't think right. I'm like, no. I was ready for it. I was like, let's shut her down. Let's go, man. Because you're always getting the money back. They
Oh
always
yeah.
have, man.
Yeah.
The people I would have been pissed. The one back, I forget what year it was. Not this last one, but the one before that. I was still in uniform, and some of the civilians that I worked with, they made them come in, and they're like, "Well, we'll back pay you,"
Yep.
and they came in and worked, and then all the people that didn't come in and work got the same amount of back pay. I'm like, that's when I would be pissed. Like,
Yep.
this is bullshit.
Yeah.
These guys, I'm like, do I get a bonus? Do I get something for being here?
No.
Nope. Same shit. Oh, you get a good feeling on the inside. You get warm and fuzzy. That's what you get.
Yep. And it was like that for, truck drivers with COVID, for COVID season. They're like, no,
Mm.
y'all are gonna work. You're gonna stay out there, keep going, you know. And then like everybody else is sitting in the house and companies are still paying them to sit in the house. I'm like, this is bullshit.
And I appreciated that because I personally kept truckers on the road with my Amazon purchases. There were days in COVID I ordered shit from Amazon just to have someone come to my home, and knowing I was going to send it back. Like, no, I just want my doorbell to ring. There'd be somebody on my porch. It was so dumb. If Amazon would have shut down during the pandemic, that's when people would have lost their shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
how am I going to get this? It's like, man, this is crazy.
Yep. I could just imagine that FedEx guys. You're like, hold up. Let me return this real quick. You may as well just
Hold
stay
on,
right
man.
here. I'll just hand it right back to you.
You can't stay 6 feet away though. Stay away from me. It was nuts, dude. I can't imagine like the other one. It was like what 100 years ago or whatever the
Oh
Spanish
yeah,
flu
yeah,
or whatever it was.
yeah.
Like, dude, you didn't have shit to do. Like, you
No,
didn't have YouTube. You didn't have Netflix. I mean, man, how would we have gotten through it without Tiger King? Honestly,
yeah, no way.
I mean, come on. It was.
Isn't there like some sort of amendment that says we have the right to have Amazon or something? I mean, it should have always
I
been
think there
around.
should be. There should
Yeah.
be. Although, well, when Bezos has taken over the planet as as the world dictator,
Hey, there you go.
we're all like, I don't care. Yep, that's fine. As long as I get my shit in 2 days, that's all I care about.
I got a message now that's now Amazon's doing clinics. You don't, there's no video or nothing. You can text them, say, hey, I got a rash on my cock. And they will message you back and say, well, what does it look like? And well, looks kind of like a German helmet head, not your cock,
Wow.
sir, you know?
Yeah, not your penis. It's a
We
little
know
small, but it works
yeah.
fine.
So they don't even see you, no
Wow.
cameras. It's just messaging back and forth, and then they give you a prescription.
Dear Chat GPT,
Yep.
what can you say to what do I need to say to get a weed card from Amazon? What do I need to get cocaine?
It won't be long,
crazy.
and you'll be able to get a damn drone, one of those drones to airdrop you some weed, from
Oh my
Amazon.
god, dude.
That's how technique it's going to get.
I'm surprised they don't do that already, to be honest. There's probably somebody doing that in DC, like, oh, all right, I'll fly the weed to you. Like, I don't know.
I was
They're ahead
listening.
of everybody else on that in
Oh
DC.
yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
they're so far ahead of everybody.
yep.
You guys are never getting it in Missouri, just so you know.
No, they legalized it this year.
What?
Yep,
Are you in Missouri?
January 8th.
What?
I still can't bet on a football game, but I can get stoned.
Dude, you're better off not being able to bet on games. I'm gonna tell you what, because when they legalize, that's all you see on your goddamn TV is,
Oh, I bet.
oh my
Yeah.
god, this app and this sports books and this every they did that shit here like last year, and that's all I see now. It's like,
Damn.
hey, you want to go broke faster? Yes, I do. Okay, with the hope of winning money on football that I will never win.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah.
uh,
It's a. I just find it ironic, how and now like all of a sudden all the vape sites are like flipping their signs. Now they're no longer vaping their cannabis and
now we can legally do the shit we've been doing forever.
yep.
That's all
Yep.
that matters.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's
So
hilarious.
how
Yeah,
how
sorry.
did
Back
how
to the
did the
show.
COVID affect you guys with the comedy show, man? Because I bet you that was brutal.
It was, yeah. I'll tell you, man. There's a few different things that happened, both good and bad, honestly. Obviously everything shut down,
Mhm.
so we lost a lot of shows and things like that. Um, but and a lot of people refused to do this. I didn't. I jumped on. And I was kind of forced into it, but I did Zoom comedy a lot,
Okay.
like a lot. And it's not the same by any means. You're not in there, but those of us who kind of got good at it, I think we made the best of it. And like I say, I was kind of forced into it because I work with this organization. It's kind of how I got into comedy, and I teach with them now, called Armed Services Arts Partnership. We teach
Okay.
different art forms to veterans and family members and stuff. It's an awesome organization. Just big plug, asap.org. Super cool organization. But they really doubled down. Like we not only did we move our classes online, which we were all really like reluctant about at first. We're like, this is gonna suck. How do you teach stand-up comedy online? Um, but we did, and it got good. And then they also doubled down on the idea of they did a show like every Friday night, like an actual show. So those of us who were kind of already in the mix and were the more experienced folks
Mhm.
we had to kind of learn it so that we could kind of be an example for everybody else of what to do, what not to do. And it
Yeah.
really evolved. We went from you're standing up in front of your screen doing real comedy to, okay, that doesn't work online, to where, I need this setup where you can see my face and I can do different
Mhm.
things. And but the cool part about it that actually was nice was I could do 4 or 5 things a night and never leave home.
Yeah.
So, and I had a much bigger reach
Oh yeah.
I did shows all over the country. I did shows in Prague, in Israel, all that stuff. Like I could never do that on, in real life,
Right.
just, and so it was actually, it worked out. So then when things opened up, now I have this new network of people that I can talk to. And, when I go to a festival or I go to a show in pick a town across the country, now I'm meeting up with people that I know from online stuff, and, they can get you into different places and do things. So those of us who really doubled down during the pandemic, I think it actually helped us in a way.
Yeah.
It certainly hurt us. We had to kind of relearn the craft when we got back out on a live stage and things like that, and knock the rust off. But yeah, I mean, if I had it all to do over again, I mean, I think I would have done exactly that way again. So um, trying to, and I'm not sitting here. I'm usually not a glasses half full kind of guy, but it turned into a pretty good situation in that. Now some people just shut down. They're like, I'm not doing Zoom, and you're like, well, all right, have fun,
Yeah.
enjoy for the next, or people were like, I'm not doing Zoom, and then they went, oh shit, this is going to be more than 2 weeks. All right, well, I guess I'll do, I'll start.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, the benefit I got out of it was I no longer have to talk to a delivery guy. Just leave that shit on the front porch.
Dude, curbside. If they ever stop curbside, I will freaking lose my shit. If
Yep.
if I have to go into Target, you kiss my ass. I love it. I,
That's how
I will
that's how I
order
feel
one
about Walmart.
thing and go to Target and be like, bring it to my car. Bring me this pack of gum. I don't care.
Yep.
It is the greatest. Curbside is the best thing that came out of COVID, man. It is
Yep.
it is the best. It
I
is
feel that
so
way
good.
about Walmart, man. I can't
Oh my
stand going
God.
into Walmart. It's like there's a law that if you're over 70 years old, you have to walk away from your cart in the middle of the fucking aisle to go look at something halfway down. with me standing right behind you. I mean,
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, honest to God, dude, curbside. I don't know why we hadn't thought of that before. It is the best
yep.
ever. It is so good. Like, oh wait, you'll go do the shopping for me, and then I will pull up, and you'll bring it to my car. Yeah, yeah, I can get with that. And like,
And no
if
tip.
that goes away, I swear to God, I'll move to Canada. I don't know what you say. It's bullshit. It's it's bullshit. God damn it, Target. Don't do it.
Yeah, man, I agree. I agree completely.
It's the
So
greatest, man.
how
And Amazon, and like Amazon was the greatest. It was good. Like now Amazon's charging me to return shit to the UPS store. I'm pissed about that.
yeah.
Um, it's
And
a
they're
dollar, but I'm still like, fuck you and your dollar. I don't need this. But but dude, I would order shit on Amazon. I cracked the code on them a long time ago. So I'm actually surprised they haven't shut my account down because I'll be like, oh, I need to get over 35 to get that thing delivered. Well, if I order 3 of them and then send 2 back, I can get it in 2 hours. Cool. Let's do it. Let's giddy up. It is great. All the online shit got so good, man. It's just the lack of actual human interaction that you can go through your whole day and buy everything you need, go to the store, go to a restaurant, and never freaking interact with a human being now. And it's like, ugh, I don't know if that's good or bad, but
yeah.
it's
Well,
it's
based off
weird.
of some of the people I've dealt with, I'm not thinking it's a bad thing.
It's not, but the other side of that is though, man, like the kids, like
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. I have like a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old, right? And they don't know how to talk to humans. So they're
Yep.
great online, but when they have to go somewhere and talk to somebody, and I'm like, I don't think we're making it better with
No.
this. I
No.
don't think like go talk to that person about doing a return. They're like, oh, it's like, you know, go ask the host. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
It won't
It's
be
so good,
long,
man.
and you'll walk up to the cash register and you'll text each other. You'll text the clerk that's checking you out. Yeah, she'll
Oh, I
have her
swear to God,
number
dude.
instead of a name. It'll just have her phone number. You'll be texting back and forth, so you don't
She'll have a
have to
QR
talk to each
code on her
other.
shirt. Hold up.
Yeah,
It's crazy, man. It's
yeah.
nuts.
I'm telling you, the way things have gotten, we're not too far from that. And
We're not. We're not. We're a step. Every time I look around, I think we're a step away from Wally. You know, where
yeah,
that dude, it's just everybody's on conveyor belts and they sit them down and shove
yep,
food down their fat ass throats, and that's it. That's us, man. We're
yep.
just gonna. We need to find another planet to go to before we fuck this one up. It's terrible, man.
Yep.
It's crazy.
The other thing I'm not a fan of, even though it's funny as hell. I do enjoy them, but I just refuse to put my content on them. Is these reels and these 30-second um, shit because man, you just I lose probably more people in my intro than I get watching the rest of my show. So
Oh yeah,
you
well,
know
that's
that
fair.
that tension span of after 30 seconds is like they're gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm trying to do those, and I do. I mean, I have to. It's
yeah,
unfortunately it's kind of a nature. You know, it's a necessary evil in this line of work. You know, is doing the reels. Some of them are fun. You know, and I've learned a lot. Like I've learned to cut videos. I've learned to do stuff, and
yeah,
we're working on getting it better. You know, because it's all honestly in this line of work, it's all about followers in a lot of
yeah.
ways.
It is.
You know, you can if you can be like, hey, I got X million followers, you know, which is also a double edged sword because you know I've talked to comedy club, you know, bookers, and they're like, you know, they're booking these guys that have, you know, 1 million followers on TikTok because they do this one little goofy thing, and they'll book them as a headliner at a club. It's like this dude doesn't have 45 minutes. They don't have an hour set that
Yeah,
they can do. They're just like they come out and they have 15 minutes of shit. And but they're packing out seats, you know.
yeah.
So it's weird, man. It's just like part of those things. So it is a necessary evil. I've kind of embraced it recently, you know, probably in the last year and a half. It was something I wasn't really doing much of, but always trying to get better, trying to find that next thing, you know. And
Yeah,
it's funny because it's an ego destroyer, man. It is such an ego
it
like
is.
I put a reel out the other day, and you know, for me at my level, you know, I'm getting like 150,000 views on it, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And then the next day I'll put out something that I think is better, and it'll be like 222 people looked at your shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn it, what am I doing
Yep.
wrong? It's
Yep.
great. It's
Fucking
crazy.
algorithms, man.
Oh, it's nuts, man. Well, and the stuff, what's weird for me is like the stuff that I don't think would get hits is the stuff that gets hits. Like I
Yep.
put a stand-up bit up about veteran suicide, and I thought I was going to get hate mail like crazy about it. And everybody was like super positive and was all over it. And that was one of the things that shot to the top. And I was like, oh shit, I thought this is, I would get all kinds of crazy emails and stuff about
Yeah.
this. But yeah, it's, it does open you up to hate mail. I've started to get hate mail now. That's a
Oh
new
yeah.
thing that
That's when you know you made it.
well, I don't know. It's terrible, man. It hurts your heart, man. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I had one guy hit me up, and I forget what the bit was. It wasn't even like a mean bit. Like I have some stuff that can be that can come off a little mean or whatever, but it wasn't anything mean. But this guy got so, he's like, I watched all your other stuff. He goes, you're so not funny that what was, I forget exactly how it word, but he goes, I watched all your other stuff, and it's a good thing you have a government pension to fall back on, because if your family had to rely on your comedy to pay the bills, your wife would have to start fucking the guy she did on deployment. I'm like, what? I was like, God damn. I was like, do we know each other? Like, do we have, buddy,
You met Jody.
who fucking hurt you, bud? Like what happened? This is not like somebody I know. This is not like, I was just like, but the narcissistic side of me was like, hey, he looked at all the other videos, so that's web traffic.
Yep. That's what I was just thinking.
That's all that fucking matters,
I would have
man.
responded with thanks for the views.
it's like, it's like, wow. It's like that one was, that's okay. That's no bueno.
Yeah, it is like I used to respond. I don't even respond
Oh,
anymore.
I didn't. Yeah, if it's a negative response, I specifically, and I have people to tell me like, whatever you do, don't respond. They're like, let your fan base respond for you, because otherwise you'll get busted for bullying and all this other stuff. So I was like,
Yep.
all right, I'll take that advice. So I just like, if it's that bad, I just delete it. I'm like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow, like, I don't need you. But yeah,
I'm telling you, there's a mental health crisis out there, and it ain't just soldiers, man.
yeah, yeah, and it was woo. If some of these are rough. I was, one lady hit me up. This was my favorite. They hit me up after a show, and I'd done a show, and I have a bit about going in when I was in Germany as a young private. They took us to the German base to do gas chamber training. No bullshit. And the whole joke is about how stupid the army is. It's nothing obviously to do with like, I'm not like celebrating gas chambers. That's
Right.
crazy. But the whole bit is like, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, we're going to the German base. Like, have you guys read a book? Like, what's, hey guys, they have a history here. And I got in trouble for the first arc because I did. I was like, raise my hands. Like, he goes, any questions? I'm like, yeah, I got one. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? But it's like, shut up, White. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But this lady wrote this bit, or well, first it was a dude. He wrote like 5 minutes after the show, and my wife calls me and says, hey, did you see the email we got? Because she kind of monitors the stuff. And I go, no. She goes, well, let me read it to you. And she reads this email. This guy, it starts really nice. Hey, thank you for your service. I'm like, oh, cool. It's a fan. And then it's like, I just want to say, and just list like 350-word email about how I'm a piece of shit. I'm anti-Semite and all this. I clearly hate all the Jews. And I'm like, what? I do not. I do. And so first of all, I'm pissed because my wife decides to call me and read this to me in between shows when I'm getting ready to go up and do the same fucking material. I'm like, what do you think this is going to do to my head? and then my second thought was, she's actually a German. And I was like, okay, does that turn you on? Like, what is it? You know how weird it is to be called an anti-Semite in a German accent? It's the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life. But I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Where were you stationed at in Germany?
Sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. What's that?
Where were you stationed at in Germany?
Augsburg the first time and Stuttgart the second time. So,
okay.
And then I went back a ton, like doing different stuff.
Yeah, I was I was in what was it called? Baumholder.
Baumholder. Oh yeah, I played rugby there a few times.
Did you?
Good old Baum. Yeah, I used to play in the 90s. I would go over and play rugby. So, and we would go to all the military bases. It was fun. Good old Baumholder.
Yeah, that's a real sport, man. I don't care what anybody says. That's a real sport.
I don't think I could do that anymore. I would get broken in half, dude.
Yeah, just thinking about it makes me sore.
But we were all drunk all the time, so it
helps.
It was fun.
Well, rugby's kind of like that. It's like, am I really trying to get the ball in the end zone, or am I just trying to run over people? You
I'm
know?
trying not to get killed is what
Yeah.
it really came down to. I'm just trying to get to the end where we can party. That was kind of
Yep.
it, you know. You can kind of imagine. I was like, I kind of took on the leadership role of the party afterwards.
Yeah.
I would I was the choir director. I would lead songs and drink a lot. And
Yep.
we'd end up naked. Thank God there were no cell phones when I was in Germany as a kid. Oh my God, dude, I would have never had a career because we were naked on tables doing just stupid shit all the time. Thank God there were no cell phones in the 90s. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree.
These these
You know,
guys are
I'm
on.
thinking back some of the dumb shit. So
Oh,
we were on our way to Afghanistan, and our plane broke down, and we landed in London,
ooh,
and we had to stay the night. They had to wait for a part, and so we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go downtown. We're gonna get a few beers," and a few turned into a few more, and a few more. The next thing you know, I remember we were asking what time they close, and they said when you stop drinking.
ooh.
So that sounded like a challenge, you know. So we just kept drinking, and then finally she's like, "Look, you don't have to pay for the drinks no more. They're free, but you just have to drink what we make you." And I don't remember much after that.
That's a bad thing with the Brits.
Yeah.
They're gonna do weird shit to you
Oh
just to try to
man,
screw you
dude,
up,
I
man.
was so hungover. But they said that I was walking down the street stopping
They
people.
said that.
Yeah, they said I was stopping people that was walking down the street and asking them if they had seen Bin Laden, that we were looking for him.
Oh shit. We're on a very secret operation.
Yeah, man.
It's Bin Laden in the Tower of London because that's where we're going next. That's dude. London's fun, man. I like London. I really
Yeah.
do. Not the food. The food sucks, but other than that, I like it. It's
I,
good. Uh,
I definitely don't remember
It's
much.
terrible. There's no taste to British food. People say we came to America that we fled like religious oppression. I think we were just looking for salt because it's just the most bland shit ever, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, we
it's
sure
just
fucked up
terrible.
their tea, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. One night, we threw some tea. I'll show you guys, limey fuckers. Throw some tea in the
Let the British go down
harbor.
to Georgia and have some tea.
Fucking ridiculous. That's our thing. That's our thing.
Yeah.
That's how you know we're pissed. We
Yeah.
throw your tea in the water.
And then years later, we're going to name a party after it, the
That's
fucking tea
right.
party.
We're gonna take your tea. We're gonna dress up like a bunch of Native Americans. Then we're gonna throw your tea in the water. America.
Yeah. You're
I love
absolutely
it.
right, man. History is some of the funniest shit when you
It's
look back at what we
ridiculous,
did.
man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I
Yep.
mean, I know there's more to it, and I'm just ignorant on history. I was never good at history. I know bits and pieces, and like now that I'm older, I try to like learn history because like
Yeah.
now it's interesting to me, and it's like, oh, damn, I was dumb as a kid. I thought this was this. You know, I just know I realized how dumb I really was on stuff.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
My daughter, I love her to death, but
But
she is definitely the blonde of blondes.
oh
So
man,
she was driving. We just got her a car. She was under, I don't know, 17, 16, somewhere around there. And she was driving, and it wasn't raining or anything, and a car was coming towards her, and the car like washed its windows, so the wipers went like this. So she reached down and turned her wipers on. And I was like, "Why did you turn your wipers on?" She said, "Well, whenever I see them with wipers going, it looks like they're saying hi, so I just say hi back." And I'm like, are you
there's some
serious?
logic to that, dude. There's some logic to that. I don't know, man. My, I I have a bit that God I wish wasn't real, but when my son was home, he was I think 19 at the time, and so I don't reveal that until when I do it on stage. But like him and his best friend were out here one day arguing about whether or not it was raining for like 20 minutes. And it was just because somebody was like, people were pressure washing a house next to ours and water was coming over. Like, no, I know that's raining. Like, can you not hear the pressure washer? Like, it is 30 yards from you. What the hell is wrong with the two of you? You're both morons. But they don't get smarter.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. Like, you know what? It's cute when they're little, and then when they're 15, you're like, you're gonna live here forever. God damn it. There comes an age where you just like look at it and go, if you don't get smarter, I gotta remodel the basement.
Yeah.
Fuck. I
Yep.
don't want you living here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh,
what are
I
you gonna
know.
do?
Man, it sounds like your stories is about my life.
Dude, that's what I try to do. That's comedy. Dude, my son, I found out this year, we were like, we sent him off to college. He goes to Mississippi State, which is whatever. But he's doing a victory lap next year. He's a senior and he's gonna be a senior again, which is woo. I was like, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Hey, I felt that way about B-Knock, man. So it's all right. B-Knock was fun the first time. Fuck it. Let's do it again.
Let's go twice. Let's
Yep.
do it one more time. Yeah,
It,
nothing in life is nothing in the army is ever worth doing two times. That's one thing I was like,
yep.
if you got to do it twice, it's
Oh,
never going well.
yeah, that was a career ender for me. E6
Oh,
was the top as I was going to make. When I got my 1059 from that after failing, you would have thought I killed the president.
oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, all because of push-ups. And it was failed to show the physical, mental ability
Oh
to,
fuck.
I mean, just on and on. I was like, holy shit,
Well,
what a piece of shit. Oh, wait, that's my name.
sorry guys.
Yeah. And then I went back a second time, man. And I've got a smart ass mouth, man, especially once you piss me off.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in the classroom and I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell these people that, I actually know what's coming and I've been here and done this already. And
Yeah.
my old
Well, yeah,
SG,
because you know, because that's a whole story.
yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah, yeah. And then so my old SGL walks in and he sees me and he goes, Sergeant Dunn, welcome back. And dude, everybody in the class turned around and looked at me like, holy fuck, you been here before? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a two-time
Are you
veteran.
CID? That's what you should have said. It's like, I'm CID, man. Just fucking shut up. That's good. Just
I should have. Instead,
fake the
instead,
funk.
I leaned forward and I said, oh, I see you're still here. He said, well, not for long. I'm fixing to go back to the regular army. I'm headed to Fort Sill and I'm going to retire. And I
Well,
leaned real forward on my desk. I looked, I said, yeah, E6 rank should pay for a mortgage.
in Oklahoma, my
Yeah. Yeah. When I went to take the PT test that time, he was the grader.
oh shit.
Yeah, I got down, he said, are you ready? I said, well, I thought I was about 10 minutes ago.
And there he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But I did better the second time I took that PT test, so I didn't have
Right
him as a
on.
grader.
That's
So
that's good. God, man. That's yeah, that sucks, man. Anytime you got to go to something twice, it's like,
oh yeah, dude. And then I was like going through Washington, D.C., and I'm just like, man, wish something would break out to where they cancel B knock. I didn't want to go, man. Did not want to go back.
it's funny you talk about your 1059. I still have mine for PLDC, and I was a smart ass. I was always been this guy, which is it was not always appreciated in the army as much as it is now. But it was funny because he put the note on it, said openly conveys thoughts and opinions regardless of circumstances. That was the bullet they put on my first one. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. He's like, he comes in, he's like, did you get your 1059? I'm like, yeah, I did. I appreciate it. Sorry, thanks so much. It was great. It was like that's
Absolutely,
the
man.
best I've ever gotten. So I still have that one, and just to, it just makes me laugh to
Yeah.
this
Oh
day.
yeah.
God, that was yeah, 30 years
Absolutely.
ago. At this point, it was crazy, dude.
So
But
I listened to the Joe Rogan show quite a bit, and
okay,
he talks about when he brings other comedians on, and he's big into the comedy world. He talks about how brutal it is to try to get into the comedy business. How
yeah.
was it when you came in?
So it's so I will say this: it is tough. It is tough. because you just kind of have to go out and do it, and nobody thinks you're funny. Nobody really wants to talk to you when you first go out, because and I know it now because I run shows and I run open mics where newbies come out, and I try to be nice and stuff like that. But it's like people don't want to invest in you until they know you're actually gonna A, be funny, B, stick around.
Right.
Because a lot of people come out and they're like, I'm gonna be the greatest thing ever, and then when they don't make it in a month, then they're like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, I will say again, I go back to the Armed Services Arts Partnership type thing. Is there's a good in DC? There's a good veteran community and veteran comedian community, and so that helps. First of all, it helped me, and it helps us. And I tell the classes too. It takes probably 6 months off of the learning curve of a lot of things. Just
Yeah.
basic shit that nobody thinks about. You think you're just getting up there being funny, but you're also there's mechanics to it, like getting up, move the mic stand, do this. That whereas where somebody that sees you knows you know what you're doing if you do certain basic things.
Right.
Just like when you meet people in the military, you talk to somebody for about 2 seconds, you go, okay, this person gets it, or this person's full of shit,
Yeah.
whatever. So that helps, and it helps going in and seeing a familiar face. And it's one of those things where you can't everybody thinks it's like a individual sport, but it's really not. I mean, you end up with a core team of people around you that help you write jokes, help you refine stuff, help get you into rooms. And that's been the veteran community out here has been super helpful in that. And I'm in a group chat today. We're talking about there's 10 or 12 of us that are constantly talking, constantly like opening, doing rooms and making things happen for other veterans and stuff out here. So
That's awesome.
it helps. It helps in that world. But it's one thing. If you're just walking in blind, it's really intimidating, man. Because it's like walking into somebody's like squad bay or team room, and
Yep.
you're nobody, and they don't know who you are, and you're just kind of like, you got to prove yourself before anybody's going to waste time talking to you.
Yep.
So it can be soul crushing, honestly. I mean, when you go out to an open, I mean, you can do. I was telling a kid a story that last night. I did a show when I first started out. I did my first like 10-minute set, right? Like, which is you start with 5, and then I did my first 10 minutes. I was like, and I did really well. Everything was great, and I took that same material to a different room that same night, and I ate a dick. It's like nobody laughed, and it's
Yeah.
just like, but luckily I had some friends in the room, and it was like, it was okay. It was like, I probably would have walked away from comedy that night. It would have been like, no, it's okay. It happens to all of us. It's fine. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's, and comedy actually, I mean, there's so many parallels between this and veterans. Like we have a very dark sense of humor. We have a kind of a
Yep.
sense of earn your way into our circle kind of
Yep.
thing, which there's a lot of parallels in a lot of ways. The things you do, you're like, this is painful, but I know it's going to make me better. There's a
Right.
lot of things that are very similar, and I think the military experience helps a lot with that.
Yeah. So I've had several comedians on, and you're the first one that's not a Marine. It seemed like that was the choice that everybody was a Marine, became comedians, and everybody that's been on my show when they got out, they were Army, and they're all now country music singers. And I'm like,
Oh
man,
shit,
is
that
is
makes
there
sense,
like
I
a
guess.
branch or
Yeah.
something that's going on with this?
I know a lot of Marines that are comics too. Yeah, that's funny. I saw you had Brandon
Yep.
Johnson,
Yep.
who I just met like last month,
Yeah.
in South Carolina. But yeah, there's a lot of Marines. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just
I
it's
think it's just a
nobody
trend.
becomes a comedian because they had a great childhood. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we don't. So maybe that's it.
It
Nobody
could
becomes
be.
a
Yeah.
comedian because they had great childhood.
It
But
could be,
so maybe
man.
the Marines that helps them out. But um,
I know there's no way in hell I could do. I asked him if I asked Brandon. I said, "Man, do you drink before you get on stage?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll have a shot or two." I said, "No, I need the bottle. There's no fucking way I could get up there."
uh, but
And
see, that fucks
it,
you up. That's the
oh, I'm,
problem.
I'm
Is
sure
like
it would.
it's and yeah, it's one of those things where. Like we limit people in that class when they're doing a show. We're like, no, you can have 2 drinks and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
don't go up because the worst thing is it's like speaking it's like speaking a foreign language or something. You're like when you're drunk, you think you're doing a much better job
Oh
than you
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's like everybody else is like, he's fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. People do, people do it all the time. I mean, I've done it. Not not at a show, but like at my own place where I'm like running a mic or something, I'll
Right.
have probably one too many, and it just it never comes off the way you think it's coming off. And
Yeah.
if you're doing a real show, like people watch that, like bookers watch it, like how much is he drinking before he goes up on stage? Because most people, you can't do it. Like I might have a little vodka in my Red Bull here and there, but before I go up, but yeah, it's one of those things. I watch people, and if someone comes in and they're always drunk, it's like, they're
Yeah.
not going on a show. I'll let them do the open mic, but
Yeah.
it's
No,
it's 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 one of
I
those things.
completely could see that, you know.
Yeah.
It So I started a new project here shortly.
Uh-oh.
And what I did was I decided I wanted to do, because when I first started this podcast, it was mostly like organizations is what I had on,
Hmm.
and we'd have a few of our veteran friends come on, and this year, season two, I was like, you know what, I want to expand. I want to have veterans that are actually doing positive things in the world, on this show, just to show people, yeah, shitty things are shitty today, but look, there is people out there that can do it,
Yeah.
and they went through the same things that you're going through, So I decided what I wanted to do when I started talking to all these people was I wanted to help the podcasters community because, just like you, I'm in touch with a lot of veteran podcasters.
Hmm.
And I was like, it's so damn hard to get your content out there. You get buried between the algorithms and all the other people that are not focusing on a niche.
Yeah.
They're more open and they steal your thunder. So I wanted to create a platform for just veterans. So I started a
Yeah.
radio station, and one thing turned into, it was supposed to be just a small project, and now it's licensing and everything else. And
Bigger than you thought it was going to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I just got in talking to a few of the people for licensing. I got to send in my application for that, and then I can start playing some of these guys' music because I wanted
Nice.
to bring sponsors on so that the performers could get paid, you know.
Sure.
And I
Getting
was
paid is
just,
always good.
my heart was in the right place. I was just trying to help.
Yeah.
And man, it turned out to be a much bigger project than I thought it was going to turn into.
Always does, man. It
Yep.
always does.
But,
I
I don't know
mean,
when to quit. So I just keep going,
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
I mean, it's a good thing too. I mean, like, like you said, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
It's the thing we deal with in comedy too. It's like, okay, how do you separate yourself from the pack?
Yeah.
And I remember when I first got out into I had a mentor who wasn't a military guy, but a very good comic, and he was helping me out. And he's like, I was like, dude, I don't want to play the veteran card all the time. He's like, dude, but that's if that gets you in the door to
Yeah.
talk to okay, hey, that's something that sets you apart from all the other 40-plus-year-old bearded white guys that are doing comedy.
Yeah.
They go, oh, that's that dude that was in Iraq, or that's that dude that was in the army or whatever, and then they remember you, and then you get in the door, right? So it's one of those things. It's just a distinguishing factor, right? So
Yep.
I mean, I don't think any of us want to just be like veteran all the time, because it gets old, and it's kind of saturated right now. But that's that thing that separates us and can pull us out of the weeds with everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And that's what
I
Brandon
commend
said
you for
too.
doing it, man. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Brandon
Make
was saying that you have to fill your audience. If
yeah,
you're at the VFW doing a show, then you want to bring military stuff. He said, but if you're not, and your crowd is mostly civilians, he said, you could talk all the military stuff you want, but there's a good chance it's going to bomb because they're not going to get it. It's a
yeah.
different type of atmosphere.
I don't know if I'd say it's one of those things where what I would say is you got to work harder to make them get it.
Yeah.
But that can be fun. I mean, that can be, honestly, I like doing so obviously I'm going to use different lingo when I'm talking to like a VFW crowd. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to explain as much.
Right.
But sometimes in the explanations is where you get a lot of the jokes, like the gas chamber joke, for example. I got mad. I wrote that one when I was actually in class, and I just said, we did gas chamber training, and I had a civilian instructor in the class, and she's like, I don't get it. What's that? I was like, everybody fucking knows what gas chamber training is. Everybody's seen the documentaries. Everybody's seen, and I actually got mad. I tell this to my students all the time. I was like, I got mad. I was like, this is bullshit. Everybody gets it. But I go back to my house and I rewrote some stuff and to explain what it is. And it added like 6 new punchlines to the
Yeah.
thing. Right. So it's that idea of, yeah, the audience is different, but you can still make them get it. You know what I
Right.
mean? You just got to come at it from a different angle and realize that they don't all get it. Um, and it's sometimes for me, I think that's more fun than, um, you know, having everybody understand it already. I think it opens up a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, man. So, what is one show that you've done that you would never change? It was like the best show you the most fun you ever had doing. What
Oh
is
my
one that sticks
God.
out in your mind?
Best one ever. That is, I'll be honest. I did, I don't know if I'd say a show per se, but a tour that I was doing for a while.
Okay.
I was super lucky. I got a call from the Gary Sinise Foundation. Was running. They called me and asked me to do two. We did two legs. I'm really hoping we do another one soon. But it was with myself, Adam Keys, who's a Army veteran, triple amputee out of California. Super good dude. We met when he was out here in DC, and hilarious comic. And then Josh Blue, the dude that was on America's Got Talent. I think he got third place last year.
Okay.
Cerebral palsy and all that. One last comic
Oh
standing
yeah,
back
yeah.
in
I
like
know who you're
16.
talking about. Yeah.
Awesome dude.
He is
And
hilarious.
oh my God, just the idea that the three of us, like it was just us and the production crew going to different, we did, I guess we did three legs of the tour. We did Colorado, then we did Florida, and then did Mississippi, and just going to these places and hitting these different bases every night with someone of that caliber who's been doing it for so long and is so good at it as a
Yeah.
comedian. Take all the other stuff out, take cerebral palsy out, take
Yeah.
all that other shit. He's just an amazing comic and a cool dude to hang with. Just being able to learn and watch him, and then do essentially open for him, for all those shows, was just an absolute blast. um greatest experience I've had so far,
Yeah.
to
I
be
can
honest.
imagine, dude. He I don't know nothing about him. I've never done any research on him or anything. But when I watched those episodes that you're talking about,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name until you.
Well, and the funny part about it is he's on TV, when you see him, he's 100% clean, and that is not his style. He's not that way
Yeah.
in a regular show. I mean, it's the same persona and all that, but he has a lot more freedom when he's not on, network television to do cool stuff. And it's awesome, that idea of just meeting and getting together with someone of that caliber, and then doing those great shows, because it was such a solid production team too. It wasn't,
Yeah.
a lot of times in comedy you'll do a cool show, but it'll be, I got a venue down here that I run, but essentially we turn a dining room into a comedy club, right? So, we have the stage and we have good lighting and all the things that I'm pretty meticulous about. But I mean, these were professional level sound and light guys, and they would
Yeah.
go in the morning of and set this whole thing up and turn whatever huge space we had into a 200 person comedy club. And it was great. It was absolutely great. And just an absolute blast. So it really felt that was probably my favorite thing so far. So
Yeah.
really hoping to do it again. So Gary
Yeah.
Sinise, let's do it, buddy.
Hell yeah, man. That is awesome. Yeah. He seemed like a really cool dude, just, and I get he was on stage, so you don't really know a person, but the way you described him is kind of
Yeah.
the way I pictured him when I watched America's Got Talent.
Yeah, what you see is what you get, man. With
Is it?
him, for sure. It was funny because we rolled in the very first show we did. It was at Fort Carson, which I had been there, so it was kind of felt like I was going home, which was pretty cool. But he came in right before the show, and they had a Q&A session before the show, which was weird because none of us had ever met, right? So he doesn't know me from Adam. He doesn't know, Adam from Adam. But like, so we're sitting on stage doing these things, and somebody asked something about military stuff or about how to. I go, well, I probably wouldn't lead with my jokes about Abu Ghraib, but and he looks at me. He just leans over, and goes, "Holy shit, you're trying to talk about?" He goes like, "Okay." And for whatever reason, he thought that was hilarious. I had the balls to say Abu Ghraib on a military base, and he thought that was hilarious. So we immediately were like, okay, we're gonna get along, man. This is gonna be good. And so he's like, I can't believe you said that shit in the green room. That's how we get to meet. So yeah, I mean, just shit like that was he, he's got a very dark sense of humor too. I mean, he's
Yeah.
dealt with a disability his whole life, but he makes
Yeah.
fun of it, and he makes light of it, and really, you know, uses that in his humor, and it's great. And we do the same thing as veterans.
Yep.
So
And I was going to say
good
that
time.
sounds just like what we were talking about with veterans. It comes back to life experiences. That
Yeah,
was
for sure.
something he's dealt with his whole life. Being a veteran was a part of our life
Yeah,
experiences. You have to rely on those things,
yeah, for sure, for
and
sure.
it's important as a leader too. Trying to
Yeah.
help your soldiers, you have to rely on your own life experiences. And
Oh yeah. Yeah,
young
absolutely.
leadership makes more mistakes because of the lack of life experiences.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
So
And yeah,
I,
yeah.
I love watching comedians, man. Like I said, I could never do it. My hat's off to you guys. Um, yeah, I just that whole
You might be
stage thing.
surprised. You might
I
be
don't know,
surprised.
man.
I get people come in our class all the time. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, all we gotta do is get you to 5. We'll get you there. Like, we'll get you. We'll get you. You may not do it. You may do it once and never want to do it again. But it.
You know, I always enjoyed, being that guy in a big circle and talking and with people I knew and the
Yeah,
morning before PT telling jokes
yeah,
and talking shit and everything else. But
yeah. I mean, what people gain, I think, when we bring them into the class is they gain a respect for how hard it is.
yeah,
It's we get a lot of people like, oh, I'm super funny, in those, like, in their circles and their friends and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, yeah, but these people don't know you. You gotta, like, you got
yeah.
seconds to get them on your side. Like, let's see what we can do. And
And there's an
yeah.
expectation when people
Oh
pay
yeah.
for a show. I came here for you to make me laugh,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and it's different than you and your friends in a corner and you just
yeah.
randomly pop off
They all
something
know
that
the
makes everybody
inside
laugh.
jokes,
Yeah,
and it's all that. Yeah. Well, that's why I always tell people it's funny because there's a tension there when we first come on. If they don't know who you are, like if a Josh Blue walks on stage, they know who he is. They came to
right.
see him. They've seen him before. They know who is this guy. But if it's somebody that you don't know, there's a tension between the audience and you. So I was telling them, like, hey, if you get a laugh within the first few seconds, like somehow, like I tell people when I'm moving the mic stand out of the way, that's when I try to get my first laugh. So but it's amazing. It's like it's this weird thing that happens is the audience laughs, they relax because they okay, this person's funny, and when they laugh, you relax
Yeah,
because they just laughed, and the tension immediately drops out of the room, and
yeah,
you go okay, and you can settle in and do your thing. It's amazing to watch that when it happens, because it's just it's a cool phenomenon
yeah.
to watch happen. So
Like you were saying, a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes. The hours of writing bits and then rearranging them and then
trying them,
trying to
realizing
find
it
the right
sucks.
timing for everything. And yeah,
It's I think the study I read, and I don't, I honestly think it's more than this, but a study I read, I don't know how the hell you measure it, but they said 23 hours of work for every 1 minute of like A-level material. And I was
wow,
like, man, I don't know. I think it's probably more, depending on
probably,
what all you're measuring, but because you got to write it, you got to rewrite it, you got to think about it again, then you got to take it on stage, and then rewrite it again and again and again and again. And and I don't think a bit's ever finished, just to geek out about comedy. I don't think it's ever finished. I mean, there's jokes I've been telling for years that,
yeah,
every so often I go, oh, I can try it this way and change this and maybe add a tag, or, something will happen in a show where somebody will say something and it's like, God damn, that's funny. And, so you add that, and it's this constant reworking of things forever. So
yeah,
I don't
oh
know.
yeah,
Maybe that's like the military. It's never clean enough.
yeah. No,
Never, it's
and
never
again,
quite good enough.
I think all of this plays into veterans. I've said way before I started interviewing people that are taking, these two careers. A lot of people who said, I've done this or that and had fun. I'm a weekend DJ or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But to step out and say, this is going to be my income. I'm going to provide my family from doing this. Man, that takes balls because now there's
Yeah,
pressure. You know,
there is.
and I think that type A personality that if you were successful in the military, that type A personality is what's going to carry you through that type of situation. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I think too. Also, it's got to be a passion.
right?
Like a lot. Like it can't. I don't think it can just like in something like this. I don't think it can just be a job. There's things in the world that can be a job, but because this is hard, and you gotta love it, even when you go try new material and you just eat it, or you go somewhere and it doesn't. There's four people in the show instead of the room being packed out, and all these horrible, or like right now I do a lot. I'm starting to get away from it luckily, but a lot of private gigs where it's like I got a buddy of mine. We do all these private gigs together, and it's like go do retirement homes and shit. And you're like, you just have to love it to like put up with that kind of that level of like suck. You know what I mean? It's just
The
you gotta
MTC of
want it.
comedy.
Oh fuck, dude! It is the word. That's a great analogy, dude. It is the yeah. You're like, God damn. These people are. Hey, you got people coming up. It's like, I think you're funny, but my hearing aid wasn't working. And like, I want to kill
Can you
myself right now.
repeat
This is
that?
such bullshit. It's so true.
The battery went dead halfway through. I was
Uh,
laughing because everybody else was.
oh no. I had an old man fall asleep at a show a while back. It was funny as shit. I was like, do I fuck with him? Like, no, he lives in a retirement community with his wife. His life is shitty enough. I'm not gonna mess with this guy. So,
Yeah,
it is, I think that's the thing. And I mean, Taylor Tomlinson said it great. She said, if you can do anything else on the planet, you should fucking do it. But it's
yeah,
one of those things where I want to do comedy honestly since I was a little tiny kid. I knew that. And then when I finally got the chance to try it and do it, it was like one of those things like I can't see myself not doing it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So and I think that's in my heart of hearts, I believe that that's what you have to have in this line of work because it'll fucking destroy you mentally if you don't.
oh yeah. I
So
mean, isn't suicide also a high thing in the comedy industry as well, isn't it?
yeah, depression,
Yeah,
suicide is there for sure. But yeah, I mean, most comics we joke about how we're all fucking depressed. Um, and I don't want to get into like all that. I don't know. I'm not qualified to talk about like why
right.
in reality, but I mean, I always, I say all the time, you don't get into comedy because you had a good childhood, and I say that jokingly, but comedy, if it's good comedy, it comes out of a place of like, some scars and shit,
Yeah,
right? A lot of times. So, um, I think we all kind of carry that, and especially I think for guys like me and some of the older comics, I mean, we kind of I mean I struggle with depression all
oh, I'm
and
sure.
stuff
Yeah,
too. I was super it got rough during the pandemic especially, but I've always struggled with it, and that's one of those things where I think in the past, you know I don't think we had I don't think mental health was one of those things where we actually kind of gave a shit about it. It was just like, just
yep,
fucking do your thing. And I think we're getting better. I don't think we're where we need to be, but I think we're getting better at it. And,
yeah,
and again, I think there's a parallel there with the military. I think,
yep,
those of us, we talk about it all the time on stage, comics do, about how, hey, I'm in therapy or I'm taking this antidepressant or whatever. And, it's like now the military, I see that changing, that mentality too, of like saying, hey, it's okay to get help. Like,
yep,
you're dealing with a lot of crazy shit. It's okay. And we used to say that in the military, but we didn't fucking believe it,
right.
for a long time.
Yeah, and your
Um,
first aren't made damn sure that you knew that too.
yeah. Yeah. If you go,
You're now a broke dick piece of shit.
yeah, it's like,
Detailed.
dude, yeah. I mean, I remember we had a kid, and looking back, I can't believe this, but we had a kid. He went to like mental health, and they put him on antidepressants. This was in like the mid 2000s, right? And I remember, Sergeant Major was just like, get that dude out of the skiff if he's going to be on that shit. We don't know what he's going to do. It's like, looking back, I'm like, God damn, dude,
Yeah,
you
it's
essentially
a
pulled
career
this kid's
ender.
clearance because he was
Yep.
getting help. I was like,
Yeah.
what do you?
Yeah, the military's changed, and I do think that that stigma is slowly changing with the leadership timeframes,
I mean,
and
it's never going to go away completely, because
but it
it's
really can't. I mean,
no, not in that.
you have to go do what guys do over there.
Yeah,
You have to believe it, and you have to commit to it. You
yeah,
know, and
yeah.
that's really what it comes down to.
And you have to turn it off. You have to turn off your brain sometimes, like in that sense of like you
Yep.
can't think you can't always be like, okay, let's think this through. Let's talk about it. Like, no, sometimes you got to do shit that's not good, and you have to.
Yep.
And you see shit that you don't want to see, and you're involved in shit you don't want to be involved in. But unfortunately, it does. I mean, one of the things I like to talk about with people too is like, but I also like to talk about the other side of that is like not every fucking veteran is broken as shit.
Yep.
Also, and that's one of those other stigmas that's out there in the civilian world, and I'm a comedian. I shouldn't be saying this shit. This is very serious, but like one of the things I deal with all the time is try to tell civilians like we're not all coming back completely fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have PTSD. I think I forget the guy's name, but he's this one doctor. I forget. He said it great. He's like PTSD is like being overweight, where it's not like being pregnant. Like you're either pregnant or you're not.
Yep.
It's like PTSD. You can be a little bit, you can be a lot. It's like being overweight. You can be a little or fat,
Yep.
but and
That's true.
but you know, so and different things triggering different people and stuff like
Yep.
that. So, we get that a lot where people uninformed people that haven't really been around vets just go, oh, they're all fucked up. It's like, yes and
That's
no.
just our humor. I think
Yeah, we deal with shit weird.
you haven't seen the PTSD side. This is just how I make people laugh.
This is what we do to keep from going crazy. If I wasn't laughing, then worry.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's true too, the old saying, if I'm not fucking with you, then I don't like you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely,
if I
man.
don't joke with
Absolutely.
you, then you
Yeah.
need to take it personally because
Then
I
there's
don't
something
like you.
wrong for
You
real.
know? And it's definitely true with me, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because if I feel comfortable around you and comfortable enough to fuck with you, then we're good. If I don't feel comfortable, then I'll
Yep.
just be like, okay, yes,
Yep.
sure.
You are absolutely right, man. So what's the big plan? Are you guys trying to grow the ASAP program? Isn't ASAP also the acronym for Army
Army
Sex and
Substance Abuse
Abuse
Program.
Program?
Yes, it is, which I think is hilarious. So, I mean, they're growing. So I say, I'm very closely associated with it, but I'm not like an employee per se. I'm more of a contractor that they hire to do classes. But I'm
Okay.
very into the programs, and I'm a huge proponent for them. They are growing. They've gone from you just used to be out in DC, and now they got a branch in Indiana. They got a branch in California,
That's
teaching all
awesome,
kinds of
man.
different art forms. We just had a big instructor conference a couple months back, and I mean tons of different art forms. It used to be really comedy was kind of the main one, and then like I think there's storytelling and improv and all this other stuff. But now, I mean, we're talking painting, and I mean, there was somebody doing
Wow.
weaving. There's
Wow.
instructors doing, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say shit, but it was. I can't. But it was, there's all kinds of different stuff, and to get people into whatever, and there's also like if there's not something, and somebody wants that, I've seen them bring things in or find workshops for different things for acting or script writing, things like that. Just a way to like express some kind of creative outlet,
Yeah.
and I love the organization. It's great. What it really, this is what I really love about it, is it creates a really good sense of community in the veteran world too.
Yeah.
And out here, in whatever area you're in. I mean, we'd kind of expanded during COVID because it was, we were all online, so we could hit up different areas that we hadn't been in before. But I can speak for out here. Every time someone goes through a class, then they end up kind of, not everybody, but two or three people end up kind of continuing, whether that's just as a weekend open micer or they want to do comedy more or whatever. It's just that community of people that kind of bring you in and accept you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I can
Um,
see. I can see. I
yeah,
think a lot of that type of instructional type classes are great for veterans
yeah,
because it takes something that not only is just fun, but one guy put it to me this way. He was like, you can take a veteran and take him deer hunting, putting him in a deer stand, let him sit there for 8 hours. And what you really accomplished was you took a guy out of the woods or out of the city to put in the woods to still think and be in his head.
yeah,
He said, but if you turn it into a class and you
yep,
teach them hunting techniques and what to look for and how to do things, that becomes now instructional that they have to focus on and think on, and it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, you know. And since then, I got a representative from Guitars for Vets coming on.
Oh, cool.
Um, I was talking with Operation Encore. You know, they've been helping me out with that radio station, and
Super cool.
you know, great group of people, man, and they're all doing the same thing, just trying to help veterans. You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's
I think
awesome.
it's
You
awesome,
know,
man.
and yeah, it seems like every niche out there, there's something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. You
And
know,
I mean, honestly, that's how I kind of got really into hunting like I am. Was I ended up getting when I was at Carson, I got invited to go to something out in Texas. Showofsupport.org was the name of the organization. Awesome,
okay.
awesome organization. And they literally flew us to Texas, took us to one of these high end ranches, gave us a rifle, you know, and I got to sit in a stand. And I never really grew up deer hunting as
Hmm.
a kid, and now I'm an addict, right? But I got
Yep.
to sit there for 3 days in a stand with a dude that had a master's degree in wildlife, and learn and talk to them and figure stuff out, and then it just kind of ballooned from there, and
Yep.
you know, next thing I know, I'm teaching hunter education in Virginia and doing different stuff. 15
Yeah.
years later now, but yeah, I mean, it's those kinds of experiences. I mean, some of them, not it's not for everybody, but for
Right.
some of us, it's like some of these experiences are super life changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
that's
glad there's people out there helping people out and doing stuff, man.
yeah, and that's that's exactly with this show, man. I There's so many times I've been able to link people up because they've said something, and I'm like, hey, I know somebody, and I can just start connecting people, and that's another connection that's made, you
Hell
know.
yeah.
And that's what I love about this, man. That's I'm too old to be trying to do anything else. So sitting in a chair and talking shit, I can do that.
I am trained at that. I am good to go.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
a solid T at talking shit in a chair.
Yep. And I don't know what the Redskins are called anymore, but now I got the Bengal chair, man. I got
Oh
the Cincinnati
yeah,
Bengal
yeah.
chair.
The Commanders. They're the
Oh,
Commanders
that's
now.
right. They're the
Yeah,
Commanders.
I'm a Cowboys fan, so they hate me out here anyway,
Oh.
so it doesn't matter. But it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You probably don't have a lot of fans.
dude. I'll tell you what. There are so many Cowboys fans out here. It's
Really?
insane. Yeah, well, because it's a big rivalry and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's weird. And plus, honestly, the thing about DC is you can go to any of the sporting events and you will see the opposing team out in force because nobody's from here.
Okay.
Nobody's from this town, and so you go to any of the games and there are just as in a lot of ways there are just as many out of town fans as there are you know
Yeah.
local team
Al
fans.
Davis was complaining about that.
Yeah,
He
it's
was talking about it. At
crazy,
least
dude.
when I was in Oakland, our fans came out and they supported us. Here, he's like, it's like 50% of the people are wearing jerseys for other teams and everything
Yeah,
else. And I'm like, it's Vegas. You didn't really think this through? I mean, the
yeah,
population is
that's
like
fair.
400 people, and the other 55,000 of there are tourists, you
Yep.
know? So
Well, that's it, man. I mean, out here it's like you know, and they suck. So the
that is
Commanders are
true.
terrible. So
Yeah, that is true.
it's like I don't know how anybody goes to the games, man. To be
Yeah.
honest, I mean,
But at least then you get like cheaper tickets to go see the other teams,
yeah.
you know?
Dude, I haven't been to an NFL game since like 1993. I haven't been to, like it has been that long. I go to baseball games up here. I go to hockey games and stuff like that and stuff. But it is like I have not ventured out to a NFL football game since like 93.
So I
It's
was
been
looking for
forever.
tickets to go see the Chiefs and the Bengals play because that's the
Yeah.
closest team to where I'm at. And I swear to God, it said see credit approval because the damn
It's
tickets
so
are
much.
so, yeah. I mean, I think,
Sometimes I go to Dallas. I want to go home. If I still have family in Dallas, I want to go home to the games. And it's like they're so even if they suck, they're super popular. You know what I mean? Just because everybody
yeah,
wants to go to the stadium and have that experience of
yeah,
going to the Death Star. It's the thing is ginormous, and you can. I'm pretty sure you can see it from space, but everybody just wants to go to that and have that
yeah.
experience. And until that goes away, and they are the Cowboys of the '80s that I remember, and they were giving away tickets.
Yeah.
And
when
no,
when your punter became your quarterback for a while.
just yeah. And then the ball goes to Herschel Walker, and that's
Yep.
that's it. That was all you ever heard.
Yep.
But it was fine.
I think I'd take Herschel over Emmett any day though.
Oh man, I don't know, dude. Emmett's. Emmett's good. I love Emmett, man. Emmett was awesome, dude. Emmett was amazing.
Yeah, he
And
was.
I mean, Herschel clearly got hit in the head a few times, but
His
Herschel,
campaign
you
was
worried about
ran like that.
vampires? What are you talking about? Are there vampires where you're at, Herschel?
Herschel's damn campaign was ran like he had TBI. That ain't no lie about that.
I was just like, it's like, dude, are you just trying to spend money? Is that what you're trying to do, Herschel? Because it's like the Brewster's millions of campaigns. I know this ain't gonna work,
Absolutely.
but I have to be left at zero balance by the end of the day. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, tell
Well,
everybody
awesome, man.
where they can find you, man,
Yeah,
and
dude. So the best place to start is the website, DewayneWhiteComedy.com. That's the easiest place. Got all the shows, got all the stuff. But then on the socials, I'm at on TikTok and Instagram. I am White Dewayne Comedy. Um, Still going through a thing with Facebook to get that name back. But so I'm my official fan page is Dewayne White official. But we're working with Facebook to get that back to White Dewayne Comedy as well. But yeah, man, that's the best place to start. The website you can check out. I got links to all the shows everywhere I'm going to be and shows I'm producing out here and all that. So yeah,
that's awesome,
love to
man.
see people at a show, man. Love
Yeah,
it. And I'm getting
absolutely.
ready to get out on the road again, heading to I'll be in Des Moines in June. I'll be in
No shit.
Atlanta next week. So yeah, just yeah, all of those things are on the website though, with links to
I
tickets and
I may go to that
spots.
show.
Where are you gonna be? In
Well, I got family in Des Moines. I can make a trip
oh
up there.
shit, yeah, I'm featuring for a guy named PJ Walsh, actually a Navy veteran, super good dude. He was actually Bill Clinton's dental hygienist when he was in the Navy. He's
Wow.
headlining, and we're going out to Des Moines together the 30th of June and 1st of July. So, and then I'm doing
Okay.
another. I'm headlining a bar about 2 hours east of there. I don't know the exact name of the town right now, off the top of my head, but the night before that, so on Thursday. So yeah.
Well, that's where I was born, so all my kin is
Oh shit.
all in
All
through.
right.
So
I've
I
never been
usually
to
take.
Iowa before, so we'll see how it plays out.
You might get surprised because it's not so conservative anymore.
I've heard that actually. Yeah,
It's
I've heard
it's
that. I've heard that.
very liberal.
Yeah.
So you'll be surprised at some of the things you'll see. But yeah, man, I will. I've turned a few heads. I'm like, what the hell was
What the fuck was that?
that? But yeah, yeah, I'll hit you up later on and
Yeah,
get all
man,
the
for sure.
details, man. I think I'll go check it out.
Yeah, man. We'll be at the Funny Bone, and it'll be a blast.
Okay, I will. I will also share all your links and put them all that
Please
into the
do.
descriptions, and I've already been sharing everything I can find on your page. So
Awesome, man. Well, I
yeah,
appreciate it.
yep. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hell yeah, dude. This is
All
fun. I appreciate it.
right, man. You take care.
You too, brother.
Bye.